Teata 198 to 190 over Robert Gibbs. Gibbs winning the first match over Buzz Oswald. 165 to 163. Any comment, Carmen Salvino?
I'll tell you right now, I think Teata's going to get loose, and I watched the line he's playing. He's playing the best line of everyone out there. The other players made a mistake. Like Bo said, the oil was migrating, and they stayed in too much in the center of the lane.
Good point, and as you'll notice, Teata is playing the extreme outside line around the first arrow.
Carmen, it's obvious Teata and the others are enjoying the seniors tour. Are you?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great place for us to be, and I see a great future for us because we get a lot of fans. People can relate to a lot of us 30, 40 years.
And John Hricsina, who really works at this game, the 52-year-old from Franklin, Pennsylvania, the mail carrier, runs a rural route every day.
You see his style, kind of a 4.5-step delivery, very strong in the upper body, has a short backswing, gets very low at the line, good lift and turn on the ball, and in top physical condition. He is out here to win.
Leaving a 3-pin.
You know, it's interesting, Chris, Carmen can verify this, a lot of these seniors never had a chance to bowl as I did. There was no tour around. It was a team era, and there wasn't the availability of a professional bowlers tour, so guys like John Hricsina are getting their feet wet at the age of 50.
So now back to Teata Semiz, who opened with a spare, now shooting in the second frame. Two and sleeper 8.
Very obvious, Carmen, and you can comment on that little hang spot that Teata was talking about. If you send the ball wide on the right-hand lane, it just doesn't come back.
That's true, Boulder. Also, if you look at Teata's style that time, Teata has a tendency to, when he gets under pressure, to pull up a little bit at the line, and I think that's why that ball didn't finish.
Okay, good point. Good for all of us to remember. Stay down to the line all the times, but especially under pressure.
Our tournament leader, Earl Anthony, will meet the winner of this semifinal game. 2 pins separating 2 pros.
Take a look at the line that Teata's playing. Very conventional. He'll start with about the middle of the approach with his feet. Well, he's not playing the line I thought. He's moving out to the extreme outside. He'll probably drift to the left slightly and then roll the ball right out around the first arrow. Extreme outside line. Well, and that's got to really confuse him because he had a shot there in the 10th frame where he went wide and then high, and here he has a very difficult spare, or he has to take the 2-8 and hopefully bounce one of them into the 10 pin. And I mean confused. He went wide in the 10th and went high, and here he pulls it and doesn't get up. Oh. Carmen talking about lane conditions. Everybody presumed that they put a pretty soft lane condition out for the seniors. Not so.
Well, I'll tell you, the lane conditions I bowled on, I felt like I was in a jungle with a bucket and I tried to cut down trees.
Very tough out there. Very tough, huh? Don't forget following us. Next, Wide World of Sports, the final jewel in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. Belmont Stakes. Kentucky Derby winner, Unbridled. Oh, I know, has a pick.
The pick for an upset, Country Day. 36 red will be the early speed. Foreign horse, Go-Go.
And whatever horse runs like John Hricsina is bowling, that's a big double in a 26-pin lead here in Las Vegas.
Coverage of the U.S. Open begins next Saturday on ABC Sports.
As we're running a little behind while we were away, Teata Semiz, at whom you're looking, left the 10 pin marked with a spare. Now he will try to cover the 2-4 in the 5th frame. And that he does, Carmen, with a lot of ease, now trailing by 28. But first, Carmen, let's go to Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Tournament leader Earl Anthony. It's been a while since you bowled for a title, Earl, and you've been unlucky at the Showboat. A bad town to be unlucky in 7 seconds here. Any game plan?
I really just be aggressive, Bo. I've changed my game style, as you know. I got a lot of help from a good friend at home, Dean Johnson at Park Lanes. He's really helped me with my game, so I'm just going to try to be aggressive, keep the ball really firm.
Chris, he's never won here. He has one more chance in about 10 minutes. Back to you.
Okay. Now, Carmen Salvino, 4-10 for Hricsina.
I'll tell you, it looks like on the lane 60, if you let up a hair, the ball wants to jump. Yet if you throw too far to the right, it must have a little skid-out pattern. So it looks like the more sensitive of the 2 lanes, and I think the one that can master that lane is going to win the match.
John now, lead has been cut to 14, shooting in the 6th frame of the semifinal game.
Two-10 split, much easier to convert than the 2-8-10 that was left by Teata Semiz in the 3rd frame. Ball goes wide for John. He needs to get the ball just to the left of the 2-pin, drive it over into the 10. He's quickly up.
Played on an older violin. Beautifully done.
Key shot in the match. Keeps the pressure on Teata Semiz, drives the 2 and the 10, has a 14-pin lead, 6th frame.
This didn't come up. 1, 2, 4, 8.
Carmen Salvino, Teata Semiz, definitely confused out there. What would be your game plan if that happened to you?
Well, it looks like he's lost the release and he's picking up at the line like I said earlier. What I would do is tone down my feet, stay behind the ball, and try to get a little ball reaction, and then from then on, try to make my adjustments and see if I can get a double someplace and win this.
That's a good point, especially under pressure. A lot of players try to put more and more power on the ball. Carmen Salvino says get a little more accuracy, work on keeping that ball in play, and that's good advice for anyone. Now Teata Semiz trails by 18, 7th frame.
Carmen, you finished 41st in this event. Right behind you was Don Johnson, who lives in Las Vegas.
Yes, I was glad to see Don back in the tournament. He's a great credit to the sport of bowling.
Right. Teata had a strike in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th, but now gets another in the 7th. We'll be back.
Spring tour in 2 weeks.
By missing the 6, 7, 10 in the 7th frame for an open in the 8th. Now 1, 2, 8, 10. Hricsina makes it.
I did some special.
Getting a little excellence out here.
Biggest shot of the day for Teata Semiz. He trails by 2 pins, strike up in the 7th, 8th frame. He can take the lead, as you see Hricina's conversion of the washout. Now Teata, right-hand lane.
Come on.
Uh-oh.
Now 5, 7.
What a freaky shot. Actually, he is going to rip the 5-pin out, and the ball kind of, watch this pin action. The ball drives through the 5-pin. A pin has to come off the sideboard and kind of parallels that 5-pin. You see the head pin came off the sideboard and knocked the 4 into the 7. Tremendously unusual. Teata with a real bad break, and now a tough split to convert.
So for Teata, an open in the 8th frame, back to trailing by 14.
Carmen Salvino, you surprised at this scoring out here today, considering how good these players really are?
Yes, I'm very surprised. But at the same time, it seems like the oil's migrating down there even more so, and as a result, they should have kept moving to the right. I'm surprised that Teata, an experienced player like that, hadn't realized that. That's the only thing I'm really surprised at.
Good point, Carmen, and once again, Teata not making that move you were talking about, stays inside. The ball slides by the head pin. And right now he trails by 14 pins. He's going at a 166 pace. His opponent, John Hricsina, at a 180 pace. The match is still up for grabs.
Spare in the ninth frame, Teata Semiz, who won the earlier game over Robert Gibbs 198 to 190. The mailman, John Hricsina, Franklin, Pennsylvania.
Well, the 6-7-10 split in a critical situation as his family looks on, kind of in shock. And I don't really disagree with the type of shot he tried to play there. Under the pressure, he tried to ram the ball into the 1-3 pocket. Not a bad idea. Gets a bad break, though, going high. The 6-7-10 split.
The man who has done his 7th championship round appearance in 12 senior tournaments. And that family is certainly disappointed, including his wife, Susan. 4 children, John Jr., Bill, Sandy, and Valerie.
As John stands up in the 10th, the match is all even, a possibility of a tie in the semifinal. Avoids the 6-7-10 split again, gets a good break here in the 10th frame. Needs to convert the 6-10. Teata knows what the story is. If his opponent marks and strikes, he'll need at least a double to win.
John didn't take any time at all. Up to 10 off the 6.
Chris, the only thing I can say is that these fellas have not been around the national championship environment for long enough time to really adjust the pressure. He was a little quick on that shot, as you mentioned, and he has really opened the door for Teata Semiz. Gibbs did it, opened in the 10th, the last match, to hand the match to Teata. All he needs is a spare or strike, and he'll go on to meet Earl Anthony.
Make a good shot. That he did. ABC Sports presentation of the professional bowler spring tour will be back after these messages and a word from our ABCs.